So I've spent the last week with this. This is the iPhone Air, and it might have a lot of controversy, a lot of good, a lot of bad, mostly because people think of the durability being bad, which rightfully so. It's incredibly thin, it's super light, battery life being bad, and the fact that there's only one camera. And so in this video, if you are concerned about any of these things, I'm going to give you my thoughts on all of the above, and hopefully this will help you in whether or not you decide that you want to purchase an iPhone Air. So let's start with the design, the build, and the form factor of it all. I said this during my first and second impressions video, but after living with this phone as my main device for the last week and using it on and off for the last 2 weeks nearly, I can say that the feeling that you get when using something this light just does not go away. Every time you pick it up, it's a remarkable, wow factor that, for me, just hasn't worn off. It's just the feeling of something so light and thin still gets me every time. And I know some people think that it might be potentially cheap feeling, but I don't really get that feeling. Maybe it's just the look of it, like the polished titanium certainly helps. And I just really enjoy this size and form factor. And it's a 6.5-inch display, so it's a pretty large phone, but having something this light and thin really helps navigate your way through all of that. Now, I've personally seen tons of people post online about how this phone is just perfect for those with disabilities and people who do not have the strength to be able to grip and use a larger phone, especially with one hand, have absolutely been enjoying it, or just people saying that they love using this phone in bed because it's easier to scroll while laying down. And while I totally understand that that's probably not the most healthy thing in the world, we shouldn't be scrolling endlessly in bed and before bed, you definitely shouldn't base your entire purchase decision off of that. But I do totally agree this phone is perfect for laying in bed. It is so light and just ergonomic that it really is the perfect lounging around phone, especially when you compare it to the phone that I was using a lot in bed, either the 16 Pro Max or recently the 17 Pro Max. Those things are tanks compared to this, and so obviously it just feels so much better to use. Before we get on with the rest of this video, I do want to take a quick minute to talk about today's sponsor, Ridge. Do you know how it feels when you finally find the perfect set of accessories that just work super well together? Well, I really haven't had that experience until just now with Ridge's all-new lineup of accessories for the iPhone 17. First off, we need a case for our new device, right? Well, Ridge's new iPhone 17 lineup of cases has been perfect. It's slim, but super strong, MagSafe compatible, and even has an interactive camera control button that protects the camera control, but also still makes it easier to snap photos and videos and just makes it smoother than ever. And honestly, it just feels the same if I didn't have a case on it. But more importantly, you do have a case on it, and it gives you that extra peace of mind without adding too much extra bulk. I've been carrying around their slim front pocket wallet as well, and honestly, that's been a game changer. It holds everything that I need, and the build quality with materials like carbon fiber or titanium just makes it feel premium and indestructible. But the real MVP for me is the Ridge Power Bank. It's compact, MagSafe compatible, and gets me through multiple charges when I'm traveling or out filming all day and I don't have access to a wall outlet. I can charge my phone up to 3 full times. It offers integrated cables, so via Lightning, USB-C, or MagSafe like I mentioned earlier. You've got all the options. Plus, there's a built-in kickstand, just one of those extra really nice touches. It makes a huge difference when I want to prop my phone up. This is the perfect travel power bank in my opinion. And the best part is you can grab any of these Ridge products by clicking the link in the description down below, and you'll get up to 10% off just by using our link. Thanks, Ridge, for sponsoring this video. There are 4 colors of the iPhone Air, but really, in my opinion, it's just 3 different shades of white and then a black. And in this video, you're probably seeing a lot of B-roll of the black iPhone Air, and obviously I am currently holding the sky blue. Well, that's because I ended up getting the black one first, but I ended up not liking it and switching it out. It was mostly just because while I did like the matte look when it was clean, as I used it and it got dirty, the fingerprints, the smudges, the scratches were just much more noticeable than any of the other white versions. And while I originally wanted the cloud white or whatever Apple calls it, the main white one, sky blue was really, really close. They didn't have that white one in stock. That was the only one that was sold out. So apparently a lot of you want that. But I pretty quickly realized that any of them are white enough, and then it's just different shades of white. And then the border is just your difference. So like with gold, you'll have a more pronounced gold, but the back is still pretty much white. Same thing with the blue. Overall, I'm really enjoying this color a lot. I'm also just really enjoying my time with the look and feel of the device overall. I mean, it's mind-blowing, like I said, every time you pick it up. And it's a much better experience to use a phone this large because of the form factor. Again, it's not a super easy one-handed phone because you still got to be able to stretch your thumb across the entire thing. And that's something that I cannot do, but it does make it easier for you to shift it in the hand because of how light it is. So it is not a one-handed phone by nature, but it can definitely be used as such just because of the obvious weight and thickness differences compared to something like a Pro Max. Now, durability was also a huge question mark going into the iPhone Air announcement and the eventual release. And I can confidently say, do not be worried about this at all. Have I tested it personally? No, but I don't think there's any need to. Zach from Jerry Rig Everything YouTube channel did his normal durability tests. I trust those. And the phone didn't bend or really have any issues under some pretty extreme duress. And so everyday use, I feel fairly confident that you'll be okay. Apple also published a lot of tests showcasing the titanium's durability, which seems to hold up well. Put it in your back pocket and sit on it. I think you'll be fine. I mean, most likely. Please don't hold me to it. I can't promise you, but I've tried that and it works totally fine. So if it can hold me, I feel like it can hold most of you. Now, when it comes to the display, you know the deal. All of these phones for the first time are sharing the exact same display across the board. Even the standard iPhone 17, obviously the Air, and then the 17 Pro and Pro Max. So you get support for 120 Hertz ProMotion, always on display, the new and amazing Ceramic Shield 2, which if you haven't heard me rave about by now, go check out all of my other videos on the iPhone 17 phones, but this display is apparently 3 times more scratch resistant than previous versions of other glass, and it 100% seems to be living up to that reputation so far. I am incredibly impressed with this. You also get an anti-reflective coating, which is pretty good, but it's very subtle, and max brightness of 1000 nits for daily use, 1600 for HDR, and a 3000 rated nits of peak outdoor brightness. It's a beautiful display, and I think you'll be very happy with it. Now, I typically wouldn't comment on performance because it's 2025 and most flagship phones, most phones in general, perform pretty well for everyday use, especially since this is running Apple's latest and greatest, the A19 Pro chip, and that boasts incredible benchmarks and performance scores and all of that, but like 95% of the time, it is buttery smooth. The problem with the Air, and I want to be very clear, it's not a deal breaker, but coming from something like the iPhone 17 Pro, which has a vapor chamber cooling system and it's made of aluminum, is that thing never got warm, or really never got past like slightly warm at all. The Air reminds me of the 15 and 16, very similar vibes to those phones. It's got titanium, it gets pretty hot, and when it does get hot, it feels very sluggish at times. Like it's struggling pretty hard. So it needs a minute to chill out, no pun intended, but literally it needs to get back down to a cooler temperature, and then the software and the performance starts to kick back in, and it's no longer an issue. But that is a little bit of an issue. It's only happened to me like 2 times where I really needed to put the phone down for a little bit and stop using it, mostly because I was outside, it was hot, the sun was hitting it, the phone was getting very hot because of the 3000 nits of peak brightness, yada, yada, yada. You're just gonna have to treat it like those other phones. If you get something like the standard 17 or obviously the Pro and Pro Max with the vapor chamber cooling system, you don't really have to worry about that as much. So something to keep in mind. Again, deal breaker? No, but it is something that I should warn you about. Now, battery life is another huge question mark heading into the official release. And yeah, I mean, I can sit here and tell you all day that it's obviously not going to be as good as any of the other iPhones out there, including the 17, but specifically the Pro and the Pro Max, which the Max obviously has a tank of a battery. The iPhone Air hasn't been as bad as we all thought it would be, and I'm able to get through a full day every single time with some battery to spare. Occasionally a couple percent. You know, maybe I have about 20%. That's probably the most that I've seen, but usually a little around 10. That's fine. But over time, I don't blame you if you're a little worried about the battery and the degradation of it over time. Unfortunately, I can't tell you what that's going to be like in a few years because the phone's only been out for a week or so, and I've had the chance to test it a little bit before that, but it's still way too early. Obviously, we'll make an educated guess and say that in 2 to 3 years, it's definitely not going to be as good as day 1. That's a very obvious statement. Or maybe day 2 or 3, because honestly, day 1 was terrible. If you get this phone, don't freak out. Day 1's gonna be rough. You're transferring all of your stuff. I was downloading photos off a cellular connection for iCloud, and all of the apps were restoring from iCloud. It lost like 50% in an hour. I know this is not the norm, so I calmed down a little bit. I charged it all the way up. By the end of the night, it started to perform a little bit better. The next day, it was totally fine. You know, I didn't lose anything while having it on standby, and it was like the normal wear and tear of a battery throughout the day, it wasn't 50% an hour. That was insane. So don't freak out, keep it charged, and just know that in a couple days, maybe the next day tops, it should be back to normal. If you're still worried about battery life, you can also get Apple's new iPhone Air MagSafe Battery. Yes, this is specifically made for the iPhone Air, mostly because it really only fits it perfectly. And so this will make your phone thicker and heavier. I think it's even heavier than the iPhone 17 Pro Max, which I just learned, but honestly, it still feels very light. I don't know if it's just my brain tricking me or if it's the insane thinness of the phone, but yeah. I'm in New York City, as you can tell. I am traveling around and I have been using this, and this thing has come in clutch. Still at 90% for today, 88%. And so, yeah, keep it on. It'll keep your phone charged for the most part. And then when that dies, you've got a full tank of battery, basically. So I recommend picking it up, or there are other options out there that are probably cheaper that will do just fine. Okay, so 2 out of the 3, major deal breakers that people were talking about before this phone was officially out. So durability, battery, and then camera. 2 out of the 3, to me, are not deal breakers. They will be just fine. You kind of know what you're getting yourself into. And the same technically applies to the third. You know what you're getting yourself into, but this might be the one that actually kind of breaks the deal for me. And that's the fact that you only have one camera. Obviously, the camera that you get on the iPhone Air is very good. It's the same 48 megapixel wide angle lens that you get on all of the other iPhones that are currently out. The problem is that you only get one 48 megapixel wide angle sensor. And while most people seem to at least want one more lens, which is weird, it's always the ultra wide. To me, I don't understand that. I really want the telephoto lens, but I think I am in the minority here. Of course, let me know in the comments down below which extra lens you would prefer, ultra wide or telephoto, but I miss the telephoto lens, especially the one on the 17 Pro Max. I shouldn't have tried that first. The 4X and 8X telephoto optical quality zoom lenses that you get on that is absolutely incredible. I loved all of the photos and videos that I took from it. Being able to zoom in is much more important to me than being able to zoom out. Again, I'm probably one of the very few, but making this my daily driver, that was the one thing that I missed. I really wish that I didn't have to move so close to get things. And there are times, like I'm taking pictures of stuff in New York, I can't get close to that building. I need to zoom in. So obviously, as you can see here, the 4 and the 8X really help. But if you don't care about that and you don't need to zoom in and out of photos and one camera is enough, then this will be absolutely fantastic. It will be a perfectly solid experience for you and you'll take some great photos and videos, as you can see here. I just wish we had a little bit more flexibility. You do get, it's a fusion camera, so you do get 1X to 2X optical quality. You can zoom in a little bit, but it's still not quite there for me. Also, there were 2 things I didn't really mention. One was the front-facing camera. Again, I've talked about this front-facing camera. It's the same one across all of the other phones, so you can check out my other videos. But it's amazing, the whole center stage where it automatically can take a landscape selfie, and this is a landscape video, but I'm not holding the phone. Like, I didn't turn it like this. Hopefully I didn't mess you guys all up, but I didn't have to turn my phone into landscape, which is great. So it means I'm still kind of looking at the camera, or at least it looks like I am more than, when you have it rotated. And it does that automatically for selfies, and it can expand, or it can just decide, hey, this needs to be a landscape photo, and it will change and you don't have to do anything. So that's a really cool feature. You still get the same thing. Let me know what you feel or how you feel about the video quality and the mic quality. And the other thing is living with one speaker. There is only one speaker on the iPhone Air. And for me, that's not a big deal because I use the speaker primarily, like 99% of the time, just for watching videos. It's not the best sounding speaker in the world, but it does get plenty loud. And for watching videos, that's totally fine. The type of videos, I don't know that I'd watch a movie or a TV show on this. You'll get by. I don't think it's that big of a deal. But again, there are a couple of trade-offs and the speaker is one of them. You only have one. But would love to hear from you in the comments what you think about the front-facing camera and the fact that there's only one speaker. I love the phone. If you're thinking about buying it, I would absolutely recommend it as long as everything that I just outlined isn't that big of a deal for you. But let me know in the comments, and yeah, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss more videos from us in the future. This has been Dan with MacRumors. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you around in the next video.